Hey, welcome back to the podcast. This is podcast episode number 232. If you're watching me on YouTube right now, I'm so sorry that my face is so close to the screen. Does Zoom ever do that thing for you where like sometimes, well, actually it's on Facebook Live that I've noticed it. When I go to do a Facebook Live on desktop, all of a sudden my face is like so close in the screen. You can like literally see the pores on my face. Like, I'm like, no, way too close. And so sometimes I feel like Zoom does that too. I feel like it zooms me in, like it literally does what it's called. Zooms me in, zooms me out. But so if you're watching me on YouTube, I'm sorry that I feel, it looks like I'm really close. I'm actually not. This is podcast episode number 232. I think I already said that, but now that I'm 50, I may repeat myself. Just kidding. But we're going to talk today about some ways that you can, I don't know, get some creativity back in your business, because if you have been in business for any length of time, there are seasons where you just feel like wah, 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 or maybe it's just me. If you can't relate to that, then perhaps your business may be in the more beginner stages. But from somebody who has owned a business now for almost 22 years, I can tell you that there have been seasons where I'm like, I got nothing. Need to come up with a new blog post. I got nothing. Need to come up with, something new to teach the women in my coaching group. I got nothing. And the thing is I've got something, right? We've all got something, but there's times when like, we feel like we got nothing because we're just kind of tapped out on creativity. And I was thinking about this podcast as we were vacationing last week and came back and told my team, I want to do a podcast on how to like get some creativity back when you feel like you've kind of lost your mojo, like you're feeling a little flat. And needing to get re-excited about some things. And the truth is when you kind of start feeling a little bit like wah, wah about business, and by the way, it's gonna be really hard for me to do an Instagram story where I talk about, and today on the podcast episode number 232, we talk about if you're feeling wah, wah, how to get your mojo back. Anyhow, but I want to give you 3 different things that I think that you can do if you've kind of lost that love and feeling. You've kind of just, I don't know, it's feeling more like work than it is an opportunity to serve. When it's feeling more like work than it is like what got you all excited about in the first place. When it's feeling a lot like work to be creative, I'm going to give you 3 tips, 3 things that can help. Okay. I do really quick though, want to read this podcast review from somebody named Kate, because she's my favorite person today. Kate, I love you. Here's what it says. I love listening to the podcast. Jennifer is so motivating, so encouraging. I always feel so positive and so inspired after listening. Thank you. And Kate, you are so welcome. And here's what I wanted to say. I am glad that some of you feel really inspired after listening. And Kate, I'm super glad that you feel inspired. But I want you to not only feel inspired, but I want you to feel motivated to actually take some action, because I think we can sit and listen to things and listen to things and listen to things. But if they don't actually like change us to change behavior or change the way we think or do things differently or look at our business differently or look at life differently, then it's just like good ideas that you're like, oh, that was great. And I feel really inspired. So I want you to be inspired, but I want you to also take action. I know I got a DM for today from a lady on Instagram. I wish I could go find, you know what? Let me see if I can find her name. I'm going to call her out and she's going to be like, yo, I didn't give you permission to that. No, I'm just kidding. Hopefully she won't say that. Hang on just a second. I'm going to read this out loud to you. Okay. Maybe I don't have it close where I can get it. But basically she said, I've been listening to your podcast for almost 2 years and I have doubled my income to now being at $150,000 a year. And I'm like, yay. So she was not only inspired, but she was inspired and took action. Does that make sense? So be inspired, but also do something. Like the Bible says that we want to get to heaven and we want to hear, well done, good and faithful servant. Okay. So well done doesn't mean that we're inspired by something. It doesn't mean that we were just, we had good intentions. Like we had to do something. And so I'm really hopeful, you guys, that my podcast will help for you to do something. Not because we're about works, right? But faith without works is dead, by the way. Not because we constantly have to be doing for God to like affirm us, or don't get into that weird stuff. But I want you to be motivated. I want you to be inspired, but I also want you to do stuff that changes your business so that you can change your life, because then you can also change the lives of others when your business changes. Okay. Okay, cool. Kate, still my favorite person today. Thank you so much for that podcast review. Every time you guys leave one of those, it makes me so happy inside. So Kate, I just pray a blessing over you and everything that you set your hand to. Okay. So if you are needing some creativity, okay, I'm going to give you 3 things. And some of you are going to want to take the very first thing that I'm going to tell you, and you're going to want to send this podcast to your spouse. And you're going to be like, see, Jen said, And I'm actually fine with that. And so if that's you, make sure you just screenshot this, post it on your Instagram stories and tag me. Jen said we need to travel. Okay. Step number one, or thing number one you can do when you're feeling really non-creative, is that even the word? When you're just feeling flat, is get out of town, get out of your house, get out of your normal surroundings. Listen, I was telling the women in my coaching group this week when I got back that what I love about vacationing and I love about being off, but going out of town away from my house, is that it's when I'm not working at all that I have my best ideas about work. It's when I leave and go and see other places in the world that I'm absolutely like remotivated to come back and just serve with such a different heart. It is when I used to have my painting company and I would go out of town and it was seeing different things. And by the way, it didn't have to be to another country, didn't have to be to someplace exotic. It could be to, I gave some examples the other day. We live in Kansas City. So it could be driving up the road 2.5 hours to Omaha and going to the zoo. There would be things there that would just inspire me. It could be driving 2.5 hours in the other direction and going to Des Moines or Des Moines, as we say, just because we're funny in our house. And, going to the Capitol building just because there's beautiful, gold ceilings in there. Like, it's the amount of money you spend and how far you go is not what matters. It's the change of scenery that matters. Because if you are in a rut, one of the best ways to get out of it is to go somewhere different. That can mean even just like over your lunch hour, get out of the house, go outside, eat lunch on your deck. I have to remind myself of this all the time. I don't have to actually sit at my desk. I don't have to actually sit here to feel like I'm working. Who needs to hear this today? Somebody just give me a yes and amen. Sometimes we think to be legitimately working, I have to sit at this desk. Or maybe for you, you're thinking, there's a particular room in your house, and that's just hogwash. I'm teaching women how to build a business that they can do from anywhere, right? They can do it from anywhere. They can do it from their phone because they're making money in the online space. And so that means you're building freedom. And yet sometimes we've built this business in the online space and we forget we're free. I can go do my business anywhere I want. I can go to our new house in Florida if I want. I can go outside and, sit on the deck if I want. I can take Ari to the park over, the summer break if I want and work from my phone if I want to. And we kind of forget that. But I want you to remember it if you're feeling flat, because just a change of scenery will wake up something in you. And listen, this is especially for those of you who are creatives. Where are my creatives at? God wired you, okay, with this desire to see things that maybe non-creative people don't have the same desire. He desired you to appreciate beauty in a different way. He designed you to be inspired by the beauty that you see. So, I mean, why do you think people that are artists like go to Italy and open up a window and start doing whatever? Why do you think people that write books go to the mountains and get a cabin and are still and have something to be inspired by? It's because seeing things that are different than what you see day in and day out in your home will inspire you. They just will. So if you're looking for a reason to take a trip, you can definitely go tell your spouse, your sister, your mom, your kids, whatever. We're going on a trip because Jen said, I'm here for that message. That is a message I'll get behind. Okay. Number 2, if you are feeling super stuck, move your body physically. Okay. So listen, we have a mastermind that I have started. It's a 6-month-long mastermind. And we're a couple months in right now with an amazing group of women. And just in the last couple of weeks, we have started a Voxer channel because we use Voxer in my coaching groups, Voxer in my mastermind. And so all the women in my mastermind have Voxer access to me Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. They can ask me anything they want to over the Voxer threads. Well, I was thinking one day about, I was getting ready to turn 50, and I was thinking about how since the first of the year, I've lost, the same 20 pounds I put on during the pandemic because, just to keep me humble, I think God gives me that same 20 to 25 pounds that I just have to lose and relose. And if you're in the faith or at the health and wellness space, like, don't send me a DM, be like, Jen, I can help you with that. Yeah, I know we've all got our issues, right? Like, we've got freedom in some areas, we've got issues in others. My issue is the same 20 pounds, keeps me humble. I lose it, I gain it. Okay. So anyway, I was telling them in my coaching group that I have lost, 20 some pounds since the beginning of the year. I've been working really hard. I've been in the weight room. I can plank now for 5.5 minutes, friends. So I've been working at it. I've been watching my carbs. I've been putting down the donuts and, picking up the protein bars and whatever. So So I've been working out a lot more, and it is amazing to me at how much clearer I can see my business when I'm physically working out. It's also, and I don't want you to miss this, okay? There's something that happens when you are disciplined with your body physically that will show up um, in your business. Okay, so you can't be loosey goosey in one area of your life and expect to be really disciplined in others. So for me, like when I fall off the rails with my eating, for example, and I'm just, it's chicken fettuccine Alfredo and it's a bowl of ice cream before bed, and we have leftover popcorn and it's sitting here at the breakfast table, and let me munch on that. And there's frozen ho-hos, to the glory of God in the freezer. Like when that is my life and I'm non-disciplined in my eating, I'm also not working out. And I'm also looser usually in my spending. I'm just not as disciplined at work. Like it, for me, discipline, it has to kind of go in all areas. Does that make sense? So if you are feeling like, I need something new. Like I'm feeling bored with work. I need some creativity. I need some new ideas. Make sure you are physically moving your body. Work out. A sweat. I mean, I think that walking is really, really fabulous, but it's different than a sweat. Okay. Let's just say that. But just even like taking the dogs for a walk gives you like different perspective on some things. It will change some things in your business if you are physically pushing your body. When you can do things with your body that you were not sure that you could do, and you do things like when I was 40 and did my first triathlon, one of 10 as a 40-year-old, I wrote about that in Fear is Not the Boss of You. Or as a 50-year-old woman, now I can plank for 5.5 minutes without dying. When you do things like that, it's like you prove to yourself that you can do hard things. And see, what happens a lot of times in business is other people look at us and know that we can do hard things in business. Other people look at us and they know we've got what is needed to launch a product, to launch a course, to leave that 9 to 5 and just go all in our business. Other people can look from the outside and look at us and go, oh yeah, she could totally do that. But we don't believe it about ourselves, right? And so one of the things that happens when you discipline your body and you're able to do things physically that you did not think were possible for you physically, it's like you prove to yourself that you're capable of doing hard stuff, and that transfers into business. So if your business is feeling a little stale, you're like, meh, do I have to do it today? Move your body. It will re-inspire you to do some things at work. Promise. Okay. Third thing, if you are needing to get some new ideas, creativity is like dead, find a group of like-minded people that you can get re-inspired by, because passion is contagious. Okay. I think I just came up with that right this second. I don't think I made that up, but I just said that, just rolled off the tongue. Passion is contagious. I like it. Passion is contagious. So when you get around other people who do what you do or have a similar belief system or who are wired like you, it will kind of reignite that excitement in you. Okay. Have you guys ever heard the story? A lot of pastors will use this visual about, falling away from the church. Okay. So, the Bible talks about how we're not to despise the corporate gathering, I think is what it says, something along that, or do not forsake corporate gathering, which means going to church, like going to a building, like, I mean, maybe not the building, but being with other believers. Why? Because it'll stir your faith. It'll stir you to like look at things different, to maybe get your prayer life in check, to be a nicer wife or mom, or to get in the word of God more. Because when you're around other people who have a similar belief system or moral compass or passion about something, you can't help but like their stuff spills over, right? And so a lot of times pastors will use the example, which is the opposite of that. Like if you think of like a grill that you would like grill on, and Jason would probably cringe at this example because I'm sure I'm like saying the wrong like words, but like a charcoal grill, right? And you take like one piece of the charcoal and it goes off to the side, and think of how like, even if the whole grill was on fire and that one charcoal grill gets off to the side by itself, it quickly goes out. Well, that's sometimes what happens to our passion when we're doing things all by ourselves. Sometimes just the passion wanes because, who's there to share the joys with? Who's there to share the excitement with? Who's there to like inspire you to look at some things differently? Or, one of the things I love to do the most when I had my painting company was go away to like different painting schools. There was one in particular I went to in Kansas City all the time for like different classes they taught. I would come back, you guys, so excited with my little portfolio of cabinet samples and wall samples. And I just being around other, really artistic, creative women for the couple days or a week or whatever, it would just reignite in me that excitement about my own business. We have right now a free Facebook group for women entrepreneurs who love Jesus. Go get in there if you want. Literally just go Google. Well, don't Google it. Go to Facebook, go up to the search box, type in prayer group for women entrepreneurs. I want you to go search for that on Facebook, and you're going to see. And then, by the way, this is how you do it. So you type in the search box, prayer group for women entrepreneurs. Then you're going to sort by group, because you can look at people, posts, pages, groups. Look for groups, and you're going to see my group. I think there's even a picture of my face on it. We've got well over 2,000 women who love Jesus, who are entrepreneurs in there. Come join us. It's totally free. Get excited about your business. Because listen, for some of you, God's wanting to do something in your business this year. I believe this with everything in me. There is an open heaven right now over women in business. There is an open heaven, meaning there is favor on women who are in business right now. And for some of you, God's wanting to use your business to funnel funds through your business to causes that are near and dear to his heart, to things that are on his heart. And he needs for your business to be profitable in order to be able to funnel things through it, right? Well, listen, if you're like wah about your business, it's really hard to be like making a lot of funds or for it to be winsome even enough to be gaining clients and things. So go travel. Get out and move your body. Go find a bunch of like-minded people. Get in my Facebook group if you want. We'd love it. We'd absolutely love to have you there. Totally free, like I said. But those things are going to help kind of get your mojo back. Because some of you, I know you've kind of lost that love and feel a little bit because the business is just not cranking like you want for it to. It's not moving along like you want for it to. And that can be really discouraging. And I probably need to do a podcast just on that alone. And actually, I think I've done podcasts on what to do when you're discouraged with business before, but if I haven't, and you need me to do one, send me a DM on Instagram. But I hope that helps you today. Because listen, it's never just about you and what you do for a living. It's never just about you and the business. You need to get your groove back because there's things that God wants to do for the business, through the business, to the business, use the business for, that are for a bigger purpose than what you think it is. So get excited. I'm excited for you. Love you so much. Share this podcast with another businesswoman that you know, and I'll see you again next week. Okay, bye-bye.